All right. What's going on, people? Welcome for another Q&A session with Alpha Cybersecurity. I'm your host, Davin Jackson, also known as D-Jax. Um, Sorry for the late response for this live stream after the last one. I was trying to do one every week, but had to do some traveling, had to do some work and some stuff. But I'm back. I'm here. And I'm ready to get it going. So in the meantime, I thank you for all the support from the last live stream. Thank you for the viewers who logged in. Thank you. Audio is good. Okay. So yes, thank you for everybody who logged into the last live stream. Those who came on after, who watched the edited videos on YouTube. I appreciate all the support. So with that being said, let's just get a quick rundown of who I am for those who are new. My name is Davin Jackson. I manage and run this Alpha Cybersecurity blog site, as well as the YouTube channel, and I'm the face you see right here in front of you. I'm an Air Force veteran. I'm a husband and a father of 2 kids. Currently live in Georgia. Used to live in Connecticut. I've been in the cybersecurity field for about 6 years now, but been in tech overall a lot longer. I'm not going to get too much in detail because there's a couple questions here that definitely want to address. So with that being said, before I get started, I want to give a couple shout outs. First of all, I need to give a shout out to my son, Nathaniel Jackson, who decided he wanted to get started and create his own YouTube channel. He's a super talented young man, and I'm not just saying that because he's my son, but I'm also saying that because he's my son and I love him dearly. And I hope he's watching. I'm proud of you. And he started his own YouTube channel called Nathaniel Animations, where he is taking a lot of his artwork that he does, as well as Legos or whatever it is he's into, and he's going to post it on his YouTube channel. So for those of you who are online right now, please go support it, go like it, go subscribe, click the bell for notifications. Like I said, I'll actually zoom in over right here. Here's his channel right here. He's already has 19 subscribers. And he does a lot of his own, he does his artwork, and as you can see, this is all by hand. I'll even play one for you right now because I'm bragging as a proud father.
I just drew Naruto and Minato, his father. This video is cringy.
But, yes, so that's one of his videos, as well as he has another one here.
Hello, guys. As you can tell, this is all my drawings are mainly about anime. This is Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto, Sasuke. For those of you that don't know who those people are, they are from the show Naruto and Naruto Shippuden and Boruto. Anyway, yes, I wouldn't say obsessed, but I am very, what's the word?
He really likes Naruto.
I'm a big fan of anime. And I will show you guys some more of my drawings next on my next video.
All right, so that's the first shout out was to my son. Proud of you, I love you, and keep up the good work. The next one I would like to give a shout out is to my wife for just being my best friend and my big supporter. Just give a quick story for those of you who have seen me on social media lately, just bragging. Oh, I don't want y'all to see that. Just bragging about, not bragging, but posting about always betting on yourself. That's something that she basically said to me in a conversation we had, and I thank you for that. So I love you. And also, she has her own website. I'm over here plugging my son. She's going to kill me. If you're in the Georgia area and you need custom cakes or dessert designs, hit up One Stream Cakes and Treats. She does her own custom cakes. She does amazing. She's just an amazing, talented woman. And again, I'm not saying that because she's my wife, but I'm saying that because the food is good and everything she does is amazing. So I love you. Just trying to bring it up 1 second. Give me 1 second here. I'm nervous typing or something. So I'll just move it over here. So this is her Facebook page right here with all her information. So as you can see, she does cookies, cupcakes, and everything. So those were my shameless plugs. And go out and support. Like I said, just go ahead and support my son and my wife and my daughter whenever she decides she's going to get into whatever she wants to get into. I will support that as well. So love you guys. And with that being said, let's get started because this light is hot and I'm like starting to sweat underneath here. So let's check the chat. Napalm was good. Thank you for finally making it. Appreciate it. Okay, so again, I don't want y'all to see that, and I keep messing around. As you can see, I have on my shirt today that says I am a hacker, and on the back of it, it has a whole bunch of things of that I am and that I'm not. I can't spin around in the chair, and you can't see it, so I'm just going to go right here real quick. And as you can see, it says, I am not tech support, a criminal. I'm not always wearing a hoodie and shades, a member of the Russian or Chinese government, and I will not fix your computer, hack into your girlfriend or boyfriend's phone or social media, hack into your bank account or student loans, and teach you about the dark web. Those are some of the questions that I constantly get either on social media or whatever. So I figured, screw it, let's have some fun with it and make a shirt out of it. I have a couple other shirts that I'm working on, but so you see one about thanks for the free Wi-Fi. I want to upload the rest of them hopefully by this weekend and get that on and going, get that up and running before I really start promoting it heavily. So without further ado, I guess we're here for the questions, right? So that's what I've been promoting. That's what I've been talking about the whole time I want to get back. And I think that's what we're going to get into. So I have about... Again, right now I have about 10 questions. Anybody who's on the live chat, always feel free to ask any questions here. But because I want to keep it, I don't want to spend too much time or have too long of a stream. I'm gonna take basically 10 to 12 questions that I have that were written down or sent to me, as well as anything that's gonna be live. So with that being said, let's see. I'll start with. Okay, I don't see any questions so far in the chat. So, which is fine because I don't know if you guys have followed me on social media. If you do, look up here. So you'll see that's the blog site. That's my Twitter and IG handle. And that's my Facebook page as well as that's my YouTube link. Like I said before, the YouTube link looks a little crazy because I have to have 1,000 subscribers and something like 4,000 watch hours before I can get a custom link. So I'm working towards that. So, subscribe, like the videos, subscribe, watch the videos. Please watch the videos, even if you play it in the background or something. Just, listen to them, hear them out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, and it'll let you know when the next video is going up or the next time I go live. All right. All right, I'm here, so you can ask you questions whenever you're ready. But on social media today, I posted up something that someone had asked that I feel like I need to address. So I posted I don't want to make sure that it's good. So obviously, I'm in several different groups, and I, support groups or blogs or forum sites, and I try to help as much as I can or give my opinion as much as I can. But lately I feel like especially since I've been doing the Q&As or since I've been trying to make myself more open to answering questions or showing support or even trying to mentor stuff, I've noticed a lot of the time that I feel like I'm being questioned or I'm being challenged as opposed to other people who have given their opinions or their thoughts and feelings on certain things, and they don't have the experience or they don't just flat out just don't know what they're talking about. So a question came across one of the groups I'm in today, by a couple people who, honestly, just to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if they meant it in a malicious way, but I felt it was a malicious way because I felt like I'm always playing defense when I'm giving my opinion. And they basically asked me, who I was and what qualifications or certifications or professional experience that I have that gives me the right to give an opinion or give my advice on anything. So I'm going to remain professional, but I will gladly answer the question. So, Leon, I have been in technology now for about 14 years professionally. I spent, like I said, the last six years or so in the security field, and then I've gotten dedicated to pen testing or ethical hacking. So, what gives me the qualifications or the personal experience? So I've given the hours. I mean, I've given you the my years of experience, but I also have, I believe the last time I checked, about 25 professional certifications ranging from the CompTIA A Plus, Network Plus, and Security Plus, what I actually got twice. After a while, I also did a bunch of Microsoft certifications because I always knew I wanted to get into cybersecurity and I always wanted to get into hacking. But to avoid having to answer questions about my professional experience, I decided I would go the sysadmin route. This way I had the experience of, once I know how to get into a system or once I know how to navigate through an Active Directory domain, I would also know how to break into it from a hacker's perspective. After I did my certifications in Microsoft from Windows Server 2008, Server 2012, I got my MCSA and my MCITP in both of those. After that, I said, let me jump into Windows 7. So I got my Windows 7 certifications. Later on, I got my Windows 7 MCITP as well as my MCSA. After that, let's see. I've worked several help desk jobs. I've done tech jobs on my own. When I was unemployed, I basically scoured Facebook every day and fixed everybody's computer. I was a fire dog tech for Circuit City. And this was all before I got into cybersecurity. I've also helped build other companies because I didn't have confidence in really running my own company myself. So I helped build someone else's as their lead technician. After that, I worked for a school system, which was where I got introduced to cybersecurity, originally doing defensive work, so basically doing incident response and things of that nature, setting up mobile device managers for the special education students who kept having their technology devices stolen from bullies and other students. After that, we were getting hit with different attacks or ransomware or DDoS, which led me to look into vulnerability analysis to figure out why I was getting why we were kept getting hit. And then once vulnerability analysis was complete, which I started to do, I actually moved into pen testing to test the vulnerability so we can know what's going on before the bad people do, the bad students or the bad disgruntled employees or whatever it is you want to call them. After that, I did that for a little while and I decided let me get certified in it. So I went down to DC on my own dime, on my own time, and I got my certified ethical hacker certification. But because they said CEH was just a baseline and there was no real practical, before they came out with the CEH practical, I actually went and found a practical hacking certification called the Certified Penetration Tester. And I took that certification exam, got certified in that, where I had a week to basically hack into 3 machines, gain root, and write up the access. Write up how I gained access. After I did that, I figured if I want to do hacking, I should also know what I need to do from a forensic standpoint, because it would make me a better hacker to know what I need to avoid from a forensic standpoint. Very interesting. Well, thank you. So I went and I started studying up on computer forensics, and I got my certified computer forensics examiner certification as well as I tested for one through ISC Square, but I didn't pass it. I just missed the passing one. But I did get one forensic certification. So I did forensics for a little while. I wanted to do forensics and actually contract myself out to law enforcement agencies or government agencies. But in the Northeast where I was living at the time, they only would do work with law enforcement, and there was one law enforcement guy who basically knew how to do all of it, and he actually mentored me on the side in his free time when he wasn't doing forensics for the FBI, for any of the police departments in the Northeast, or the Secret Service. So after that, I realized, you know what, I'm going to stick to hacking. And then I moved to Georgia, and I got another job doing penetration testing, and I've tested Fortune 500 companies, government agencies, hospitals, medical facilities, banks, you name it, for all different type of compliance reasons. Once I did that, I worked at another company, and they asked me to get my CISSP, which I did in 2017. So on top of all the other certifications I now have my CISSP as well. Currently, I'm trying to pursue my OSCP certification. Again, if you look on my website, one of my most personal articles is the one called "My Fight for the OSCP," where I talk about how I tried to go for the OSCP and failed it because I approached it like I approached every other certification I've done in the past, and however, I underestimated this one, and in the end, I got sick, failed it, had to deal with imposter syndrome, but I persevered, and I'm here now. So, Leon, I hope that answers your question, and the next time you ask me, or the next time you see me post something in a group giving my opinion, I hope this satisfies your curiosity as far as who I am and what makes me qualified. With all that being said, I don't claim to be an expert. I'm not Google. I don't know everything. And if anybody who knows the cybersecurity field knows that it's ever changing. So I'm constantly learning, and I'm constantly working on bettering myself. So, like I said, that's what makes me qualified. My experiences make me qualified. And at the end of the day, if I could help anybody who's on this list, or anybody who reads my website, or anybody who looks at my YouTube channel, or anybody who sees me in any of the meetup groups, or anybody who talks to me on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, if anybody asks me any type of question, I will always be able to help. So that was the first one that I needed to address. The second one I needed to address was in regards to something I said in my last stream. Let's see. My favorite reply is, I started in tech on the phone for AOL tech support. Does show my age. Yeah, it does show your age. But like I said, my first real tech job was Circuit City. So I guess I'm showing my age too. In my last stream, I said my goal was to help others get into the cybersecurity field because it's a growing field, it's a large field, and it's a field that if it doesn't satisfy them, they can kick rocks. Boom. Absolutely. Like I said in my last stream, I said I wanted to help a lot of people. And I said I definitely want to target those in the African American community or the minority communities, because if they grew up like I did, you weren't really exposed to a lot of this stuff growing up. Again, I didn't have confidence in myself that I was smart enough to even really get into technology until I was well into my adult years. And like I said, I just did it as a hobby. So someone actually asked me in your last stream, you talked about wanting to help people of color. Why are you making it about race, or why are you making it about race? I'm not making it about race. I'm making it about showing people in communities where we have come up with less that they can still achieve it. Personally, I want to show people who look like me or kids who grew up like me that you don't have to worry about being in music or being in sports or being on the block to be successful. So it's not that I'm making it about race, but I'm actually trying to show other people that there's an alternative. So not that I'm taking offense to the fact that you think I'm making it about race, but at the same time, I'm making it about, like I said, an alternative. I'm trying to give these children confidence. I'm trying to give these young people confidence. Hell, I'm trying to give people who are older than me confidence, because again, how we grow up, it was tech stuff was for the nerds. You had to know computer science. You had to be a rocket scientist to know it. So I'm not trying to make it about race, but I'm making it about trying to help people in races that don't have the exposure. And at the end of the day, if there are people down here who are Caucasian or Latino or Asian or Indian or whatever that want to get into this field and they come talk to me, I answer the questions the same. So I'm not making it about race, but again, it's near and dear to my heart because that's how I came up, and that's my target demographic when I say I want to help people in the inner city. So take that as you will. So I missed the Zoom conference. Can you talk about getting into bug bounties? Okay, so I have a question online. So bug bounties, I did see that Zoom conference yesterday, and shout out to them. They did an amazing job. They were very accurate, or they were very precise with the questions, or they answered, from the presenter to the guest. It was really well done. I believe it was Lou and I'm Izzy, and I'm trying to remember the other gentleman's name, but I am following you guys on Twitter and Instagram, and like I said, I would definitely love to chop it up with you guys and talk shop one day. So bug bounties are similar to penetration tests and different at the same time. You follow the same methodology. The goal is the same, to find vulnerabilities and proof of concept of the vulnerabilities on a website or on a network. But with bug bounties, it's mainly their application. So it might be their website, it might be their app, it might be whatever it is they're trying to push at that moment. And the goal is, like I said, you have to go in and see what vulnerabilities you can find, and then you have to report it. And once you report it, they validate it, and if it is indeed a valid finding, you get paid. That's pretty much bug bounties in a nutshell. Like I said, with penetration testing, you have to kind of worry about, what's in scope, and can you do this, and do you have to alert the NOC, or do you have to alert this personnel? And bug bounties is basically, honestly, scanning and information gathering, exploitation, and report writing. There's no, there is some red tape that you have to deal with, but they kind of let you know. In advance what you can and can't do. So bug bounties are very lucrative. I know some people to get $1,000, $4,000, a couple $100. I've also seen some people. This is my mother. I've also seen people where, because it's a duplicate finding, they may just get some stickers or a t-shirt or something like that. I've gotten stickers. I haven't actually gotten paid. I haven't done bug bounties in a while. That's my goal by the end of 2019, is to kind of get back into it, because it's definitely a great side hustle, especially if you're in this field and you do pen testing and hacking. Marky, what's up? I like your shirt you posted. Is that your merch? Yes, sir, it is. You see, I'm wearing it right now. I can send you the link in the chat. So if you like the shirt, please, show some support and buy the shirt. It's pretty much that simple. Give me 1 second here, sir. Slide this over here. Just need to, let's see, I just need the link. It's loading. So yes, that is my shirt. Like I said, that's definitely something that I'm working on. I have a whole bunch of other shirts that are coming in the woodworks. I just haven't really had the time to upload all of them and make sure that, you know, they're all up and running, you know, that they all look good and everything. But I do have the designs. I've sketched them out. I've put them, you know, in the computer. So I just really need to just upload it and place it on the t-shirt and, you know, see how they look. But like I said, I'll show you real quick. Again, this is the back of the shirt, and then this is the front of the shirt. I also have it in a hoodie, you know, stickers. You can put it on a mug, you know, stuff like that. Like I said, I'm just trying to get some stuff out there. And then I also have I have it in white as well. And then I have one that says basically thanks for the free Wi-Fi. And it's basically just that what you see. There's nothing on the back with that one. So those are the two shirts that I'm starting with. But that's what I'm working on. So like I said, I'm constantly working on other things between the website, the merch, the YouTube videos. Now I'm doing the streams. And I got some other stuff lined up, but I don't want to announce it just yet because I want to make sure that is good to go before, you know, I put that out there in the universe. So let's see. Yes, that's my shirt. Let's see. I study English and want to become an information security specialist. So Andre Sec, good luck with that. If there's any questions that you have or anything I can possibly help you with, that's fine. You know, you can reach me on my blog site. You can reach me on Twitter and Instagram. You can reach me on Facebook, and you can send me a message on YouTube. But I will say, for all those people who are watching right now, again, just go to the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications. Hey, I finally said it. My son is rubbing off on me because for forever I could not say it. But this is my channel right here. Says Q&A session and maybe some demos or gaming. There won't be any gaming today, just because of time constraints, but I will at some point when, you know, there's more we can talk about. Let's see. I saw the designs and they are dope. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Question: what would be your advice for someone just starting out with goals toward red teaming, especially if that person has an extensive educational background in IT? A little above intermediate pen testing skills, but way more lab time than production environment time. Napalm, I would say you're definitely on the right path. As far as the advice I would give, if you want to do red teaming, again, red teaming entails a lot of stuff, which is, I guess, a perfect opportunity for me to answer one of my questions real quick while answering yours. So someone actually asked, I know this sounds like a noob question, but what is the difference between red and blue teams? So in a nutshell, red team is offensive, blue team is defensive. So red team would be penetration testing and hacking, breaking in using lock picks, or trying to socially engineer your way into a building or a network system or a website or wherever you need to. And basically you have free reign to kind of do whatever it is you need to do to gain access to the target. Blue team is more of the defensive, so the incident response, the forensic team, the people who basically, you know, they make sure the firewalls are up to date, the firewalls are up and running, the network is secure, everything is patched. That's the blue team. So back to your question, Napalm. My advice to you would I know you have more lab time than production time. I would honestly still stick with the lab time, because even though some of the labs is more like a capture the flag based exercise, there is some stuff that is real world environment. I would definitely look more towards some web application labs, or even now with like Docker or AWS, so like Amazon Web Services. I would definitely look to learn how to do pen testing in those environments as well. For again, if you're trying to do the full red team experience, I would definitely work on your social engineering skills. So you're like your phishing, or, you know, just practice calling, pretending to be different people, lock picking if you're going to do physical, fly a drone. That's a big one that I've learned over some time, where we're trying to scout a building, how many guards are here, how many doors they have, but we don't want to walk near the building. So I've seen where, you know, teams actually fly a drone around the building, and that's how they do their reconnaissance. But as far as just the nuts and bolts of the hacking perspective, stick to what you're doing. Stay focused on it. Don't get complacent, because you should know by now that there's always a new way in or a different way in, and they're always trying to change or secure or patch it. So you're definitely on the right path. Like I said, I would just definitely stick to learning the skills. Oh yeah, Wi-Fi pen testing too. That's another one that you should at least know the basics of. Let's see. I think so. That's pretty much that. You're pretty much on the right path. Like I said, when you interview with most jobs anyway for a red team position, they're going to there's going to 9 times out of 10 there's going to be a technical interview where they're going to try to blitz you with questions. So that's why I said make sure you know your stuff, because sometimes they'll put you in front of a computer and try to do a practical, and sometimes they will put you in a room and they will basically give you like a tabletop scenario where they're saying, okay, so we told you to gain access to the website, but you saw port 80 and port 3306 is open. What would you do? And go. And you would have to know how to answer that question. So, for example, if port 80 is open, you know that there's probably a web application. So you would probably browse to the web application, see what you can find, see if you can browse for different directories, run something like a NIC2 or a Dirbuster scan. And if 3306 is open, that's usually like a SQL port. So then maybe you would try to throw some SQL commands to see if you can get SQL injection. Okay. Red team is like 10 years of work if you're starting from the bottom. Not really. It depends on, like, help desk being the bottom. Okay. If you're trying to go that route, then yes. Because, again, speaking from experience, that's how I came up. I came up starting doing help desk, tech support. Then I led to doing more of a network support, then sysadmin and stuff like that. If you're going to go that route, then yeah, it's probably going to take you somewhere between 7 and 10 years. But these days, there's so many more resources online. Me being one of them, shameless plug. But there's so many different resources online. I mean, Dave, you see it on Twitter. There are people you can ask, and there are just resources that you can get for free. So honestly, if you know your stuff, it might not take you that long if you know it and you can apply it practically. I will say, in regards to that Zoom conference that I heard that I watched yesterday, the gentleman said he wouldn't really recommend learning Network Plus. He would just kind of jump to Security Plus. I kind of disagree, because networking definitely plays a role in learning how to do security, just because of the subnetting or knowing your TCP/IP ports, so or your TCP or your UDP ports. You definitely need to know those, because again, just like I was saying in Napalm, if they ask you, okay, so what happens if port 22 is open? Okay, that's SSH. Port 21, that's FTP. Port 23, that's Telnet. 445 is SMB. Excuse me. These are things that you learn from a basic networking course. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go get your Cisco CCNA or anything like that, but a Network Plus or a basic networking certification would definitely help you in the foundation to grow in the security field. All right. So, like I said, help desk. Like I said, if you know your stuff, I mean, we've spoken on the side where if you know your ports or you know your basic networking and you know your Security Plus, honestly, you could probably jump into CEH and do a lot of lab work. If you do the lab work and stuff, like I said, it helps build that practical experience, because you're going to need that in an interview. Because if I'm on the other side of an interview table, my goal is to try not to purposely stump you, but I need to make sure that if we're going to be on a team together, or we're going to be working on a pen test assessment, that I can trust you to say, okay, here we have 100 IP addresses. There's four of us. You knock out 25. You knock out 25. I need to know that you know what you're doing in that with your 25, and that someone doesn't have to kind of go back and double check or triple check your work. Sometimes you will need that for validation, for like proof of concept. So if I gain an exploit and I write it up, I will then hand it off to a colleague or someone who might be less technical to follow my steps to validate that it does work, like a peer review. But like I said, there's so many resources. If you have the know-how, and you can really just get into it. I've been hearing in the industry that CEH isn't highly regarded. People jump to OSCP. What do you think? Get the CEH. So I agree. The CEH isn't highly regarded to people in the industry, but the CEH is highly regarded in the job field. So at the end of the day, you won't get to really meet the people or work with the people in the industry if you don't get the job to begin with. So the CEH is the foundation, right? So the CEH, there's a CEH when I took it, because I took version 9. There was no practical, so that's why I had to do the CPT. The CEH kind of just tells you this is what Nmap is, this is what a DDoS is, this is what SQL injection is, and they kind of give you a quick synopsis of it, but they don't really go into detail. I've heard that EC Council, to compete with the OSCP, did the CEH practical, which is great. I still haven't really heard too much about how hard that exam is. I may, once I kind of get the OSCP out the way and I got some time, I may circle back and do that one, as well as the Pen Test Plus. Because I did the beta for the Pen Test Plus, and at that time the Pen Test Plus was actually more difficult than the CEH, but that's another story. But like Napalm said, the CEH is a great HR filler. The CEH gets you the interview. Your practical knowledge is what gets you the job. So if I'm looking for a pen tester or a junior pen tester, I'm going to look and say, okay, they have their CEH, but then when I bring you in for the interview, I'm going to ask you questions that you may not have experience on the CEH. So that was a big hang up for me when I first started. I got my CEH and I was like, mama, I made it. I'm a hacker. I know my shit. And then when I went for my first like mid-level to senior pen test job, it was like, holy shit, I know nothing. You know what I'm saying? So don't fall into that one. That would definitely be one. I would definitely say, that's why I keep saying, learn the labs, get into the Vuln Hub, get into Hack the Box, get into bug bounties. There's all these resources, and the security community is doing a really good job of either making it affordable or in some cases free. So like I said, they're always out there. So like I said, you can always learn it and learn beyond the CEH. Okay, so this is going pretty good. Let's see. What are your thoughts on eLearn security certs? I stepped away from Pentest Plus to shoot for the EJPT. I haven't really messed with it personally, except for like a couple videos here and there, but I heard eLearn is really good. A couple friends of mine take it. I think another colleague of mine, he swears by it. So from what I've heard from people in the field, that they're really good. That they are more obviously they're more technical than the CEH, and they're good ones to have. Like I said, there's a bunch of different certifications that I probably will mess around with once I get the OSCP, but like I said, I've looked at a couple videos and stuff online, and from what I've seen, they're really good. Just from what I've seen personally. Let's see. I stepped away from the pen test to shoot. That's fine. You went from the pen test to shoot for the EJPT. That's fine, because it'll probably also get you. It'll probably teach you more practical. Like I said, from what I saw with the pen test Plus beta test, it's a little bit more detailed as far as the stuff that it shows you, as opposed to the CEH. But I think the CEH and a combination of the CEH and the EJPT, or the CEH and the pen test Plus, or something like that, I think it would definitely be helpful in your career. All right. Where are we at so far? Still doing pretty good. Okay, we're looking good on the stream. All right. So I'm gonna get another question that I got from online, which I guess will fall into this one too. What books do you recommend? Um, it all depends on your level, but there are some that I constantly go back to. Like, I don't know if you can actually see behind me. It's a little bit of a mess. Sorry. Like I said, I've been out of town for like a week or a week and a half. But I have a bunch of them. I don't know if you see them, but I'll grab a couple. But some that I've come across recently that have been really helpful if you're, for like I said, starting out. I don't know if you see this one. So Linux Basics for Hackers. This is a good one that kind of just basically goes over the basics of Kali Linux. It kind of goes over some of the commands. It goes over some of the stuff for like privilege escalation. So that's a good one to have and a good read to have. The next one I would recommend is Georgia Weidman's Penetration Testing. This one, a hands-on introduction to hacking. As you see, I got stuff here that I still kind of look at, and I look at it constantly. I have ebooks. I have a bunch of ebooks, but I prefer to get the hardcover or the hard copy books. Just for some reason I feel like it helps me study more. Like I said, I can highlight it, I can write down the notes. I keep it in front of me. Here's a quick tip for those who actually, let me not go there yet. Let me just stay on task. This one right here, the Hacker Methodology Handbook. This one is really good because it kind of gives you the steps of what you would do in a pen test scenario. So if you actually look at the table of contents, it kind of gives you, I don't know if you can really see that, but it kind of gives you stuff to do in each scenario. So it'll tell you, what to do, what to use during recon. How would you recon something for DNS? What tools would you use for scanning and enumeration? Stuff, and then there's the red team. There's the red team field manual. This is another one that's really good for pen testing. I think anybody who's in pen testing should have this one, and then the next one I'm going to show you. This one and this one. Andre is the book of 2019 year. Yes, all of them that I have shown you, with the exception of the Georgia Weidman book and this one, have all come out this year. But this one, if you're going to get into pen testing, you have to have this book right here. And then you also have to have this one, the Hash Crack. It just came out with the latest 3.0 version. And what it does is, honestly, it gives you all different type of hashes that you may come across while you're doing a pen test. And it kind of gives you the steps on how to crack the hashes or how to decipher the hashes to get into that password file or whatever it is that you're looking for. If you're going to do web application hacking, I'm just going to grab a couple more. Oh, damn. I'm dropping my comic books and shit. Sorry. So, there's Hacking Exposed. This one is a good one, but I think it's a little dated. They do need to come up with a new version, but it goes over a lot of the more popular exploits and how hard they are to exploit and things of that nature. This one, Hacking the Art of Exploitation. This one is a really good one, but it also goes over a lot of writing in programming code or doing stuff like buffer overflow attacks. This one's written by Dave Kennedy or Relic. He basically runs Trusted Sec, and he's like big in the cybersecurity community, but he helped co-write this one for Metasploit. This gives you basically a basic rundown of how to use Metasploit, what the different modules are, and it's just how to use Metasploit. Then there's Gray Hat Hacking. This one is another one that's very similar to the Georgia Weidman book, but it goes over certain things in more detail. But then this one right here, if you're going to get into web application pen testing, which you definitely should, especially if you're going to get into bug bounties, or if you plan on getting a really good paying pen testing job, you should know web application stuff. This baby right here, the Web Application Hacker Handbook version 2. This is by far the web app hacking Bible. There's other books out there that that are really good and complement it, but you gotta have this book. They're not coming out with a version 3, but Portswigger, the people who make Burp Suite, as well as one of the authors of the book, the creator, they came out with the Web Security Academy on portswigger.com or .net. I actually have a blog post about it. So if I go into web application pen testing. Oh yeah, by the way, subscribe to alphacybersecurity.tech. I typically try to post 1 or 2 articles a week, ranging from anything from tech or to data breaches, basically anything that can help anybody in their everyday life as well as in their career. But yeah, so the Portswigger announces their Web Security Academy. If you click here, and they have labs, and they have, it's really detailed, and it kind of helps you learn how to use Burp Suite as well as how to do web hacking, and it's absolutely free. So you can't beat that. But back to what I was saying. So yeah. All right. So those are a bunch of the books that I use currently. Like I said, I don't have my tablet in front of me, but I have a bunch of ebooks as well. But these books are in constant rotation. And then, like I said, and then it just depends on what you're doing for anything else. So, like, if you have, if you're testing for certifications, on my website, you'll see I actually have a recommendations page that actually have, everything from computer monitors, headsets, keyboards, VPN services or antivirus, Udemy hacking courses, Cybrary. These are just links to those sites. Again, if you're doing bug bounty, Hacker One does a Hacker 101 capture the flag that kind of teaches you how to look for web application vulnerabilities. But then here are a bunch of different books. So these are like audio books or something from Kevin Mitnick. But these are all certification based. So here's Network Plus, Security Plus. And these are all books that I've either reviewed at some point or people that I trust, who basically in this career, who I trust dearly, have recommended. So Network Plus, Security Plus. Like I said, if anybody who knows me or who has asked me about Security Plus, this book right here by Daryl Gibson, I any book that he writes, if I'm testing for a certification, I'm looking to see if he wrote it because they're easy to read, and I have gotten some of my highest test scores just studying off of his books. Again, here's one for the CEH. This is pretty much the same one I took for, I studied for the CEH. And then here are the books that I also recommend. And like I said, every book that you see here, I'm not just, a salesman that says, oh, go get it because I'm just going to get a commission off of it. I've either read every single one of these books. I have them in some format, whether it's PDF, whether it's hard copy, or whether it's through Kindle or whatever. I've either read these books or I have come across these books, or someone who I respect in this field has recommended these books. So everything that I've done pretty much has been vetted, and that's how I kind of, if I recommend anything or if I'm gonna put my name behind anything, I try to vet it thoroughly. Okay, so do I have anything online? The Linux Basic for Hackers is the main beginner hacker book. No, I wouldn't say it's the beginner main hacker book, but it's definitely one that they created that I think is great just because of the fact that most people who are going to learn penetration testing, they're going to learn from the distribution of Kali Linux. And that book basically shows you how to kind of navigate through Kali Linux, and it kind of just gives you a brief synopsis. So that's why I really recommend it. Like I said, it was an easy read. I read that. I literally read that book in one night. while I was sitting through a third party pen test, and I just had to monitor what they were doing. So I just sat off in the corner and read the book. And I mean, there's even stuff in there that I didn't know with my experience with Kali Linux. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. And like I said, especially one part that I liked is how to secure. It teaches you what to look for and how to secure Linux. Linux issues with privilege escalation. So that's why I recommend that one. I would definitely recommend that with the penetration testing book. Honestly, I would recommend all of them, but I would recommend those two. Maybe the Metasploit book, the Red Team Field Manual, the Hash Crack, and the Hacker Methodology Handbook. And then this may be here. And then, like I said, after that, it just kind of just depends where you get with your experience. But the Great Hat Hacker one is also another one I would probably strongly recommend. Okay, what training do you recommend? So, like I said, if you look, that was the next question. What training do I recommend? So, again, if you look here, these are all trainings that I would recommend that are either cheap or free. So, like I said, Cybersecurity is a great one that has a lot of cheap courses or free courses. They have a paid membership. I've never used their paid membership, but I know some people who basically swear by it. Udemy, I like Udemy because it's almost like they're created by your peers, and it's, no one's trying to be super technical, no one's trying to be, a professor or whatever. So I really prefer Udemy courses, and I actually made a list of courses and put it into one link. So like I said, so this one, hacking from scratch, Zaid, he's really good. I actually really like his website hacking one that he's done, and he has an advanced one. So I just realized it might not be right here on the top of the page on this list, but like I said, these are really good. So I would definitely recommend grabbing a couple of these. I mean, they range anywhere from $9, $10, $12. Sometimes they might be $100 to $200, but they are absolutely worth it. But the thing with Udemy is they're constantly having sales. So I've never paid nothing. I've never paid more than like $50 for a course, or if I have, I probably bought like a bundle. So I probably paid $100, but I got like 18 courses. So as you can see, like this one's $194.99, but it's $12.99. It's on sale, and like I said, last week they were all on sale for $9.99. So I would definitely recommend grabbing some courses from Udemy. Here's another Udemy one for Python for beginners. Like I said, this Hacker 101 is free. Cybersecurity has free courses. We've already gone over the Portswigger Web Academy. Jason Dion, yes, thank you, Napalm. Yes, Jason Dion is really good too. Now, here's my trick with Cybersecurity, right? So earlier I showed you Georgia Weidman's book, right? She also teaches a course on Cybersecurity. Let's see if I can just find it real quick. Just for the sake of time, I don't want to, search through everything, and I don't want to. So hold on one second. I have to go put in my password and stuff. But Georgia Weidman also does an advanced penetration testing course on Cybersecurity. That's also really good and really detailed, but she also basically goes over a lot of the stuff that's in this book. So somebody from Tulpa Security, someone from Tulpa Security actually made a course on how to prep for the OSCP using this book and her Cybersecurity course. So I'm still just trying to find the damn course, because obviously I didn't have that put off to the side when I decided to do it. I forgot, but I'm human, so just bear with me for 1 second. There it goes. Advanced penetration testing, my enrollments. Any day now, right, Devin? I know. Give me 1 second. So this course here, I ain't gonna review that right now, but Georgia Weidman basically wrote this book and created this course on cyber to go with it. But if you look here on Tulpa Security, they basically gave you a module guide. So it tells you what pages in the book to read and then which video to watch with it. And it gives you the links right here. And it also gives you a bunch of cheat sheets that you can use to help you. And basically how they structured that is to help you prep for when you do go to take the OSCP course later on in your career, or whenever it is you decide to take the OSCP course. So so I recommend any of those courses. I recommend, again, recommend getting the network. Like I said, getting a basic understanding of networking, especially the ports. I would recommend getting a basic understanding of security, like Security Plus, and then I would recommend the CEH, or like I said, the EJPT. I would recommend any of those, the Pen Test Plus, and then like I said, take a look at those courses, and then a lot of lab work. That's what I would recommend as far as the training. But like I said, you definitely need to make sure you have these books, because these books as long as I've been doing it, I still refer to these books a lot. Even with some of the stuff when I'm writing, I make sure I look back to validate and that I know what I'm talking about. All right. Let's see. Do I have anything else online? Nope. We're good so far. So we'll go into another one that I have here. And then, what are some of your favorite tools? Some of my tools, it just depends on what I'm working on or what I'm doing at the time. So I can't say that I have one that's like, oh yeah, this is my go-to. Actually, I lied. Nmap is always a go-to, and Netcat is always a go-to. If I know I can use those tools. But like I said, it depends on what I'm doing. So if I'm doing a web app pen test, Nick2, Dirbuster, or Nick2, Dirb or Dirbuster, GoBuster, which is another basically an advanced version of Dirbuster. So Nick2, Dirbuster, Burp Suite, obviously, SQL Map if I'm trying to test for SQL injection. There's some, but with web app stuff, I tend to do a lot of the stuff manually, just because that's how I was taught. It wasn't until like later on where I was like, holy shit, I wish I knew that SQL Map automated all this stuff and I didn't have to do like union-based SQL injection this whole time. But I still prefer to do it, especially for proof of concept purposes, when I try to present it to someone that the vulnerability does exist. Sometimes a manual proof of concept goes a lot further than showing an automated tool. And also, I just think it looks cooler. So, like I said, it just depends on what I'm doing. So, like I said, Nmap's usually a go-to. Netcat's usually a go-to. Like I said, if I'm doing web application, Nick2, Dirb, Dirbuster, GoBuster, obviously Metasploit, Burp Suite, OpenVAS for some of the scanning, or like a Nessus scan if I'm in a job where I have access to like a paid version of Nessus. But yeah, like I said, it just really depends. And then also, there's always new tools coming out, so I can like something now, and then I test something later, and I'm like, oh no, this is way cooler, or easier to use, so I'm gonna use that. So I would just say know your core tools. So know your Netcat, know your Nmap, know whatever scanner it is you're going to use. Know your Nick2, know Wireshark, know your manual cross-site scripting and SQL injections. Like your script tags and stuff like that. Know those. Next question. What is a keylogger? So yeah, someone asked me that. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say your name because it's a little weird that what your screen name was. But basically, a keylogger is like a surveillance tool. It could be like a hardware or a software keylogger, but basically, it does exactly what the name suggests. Keylogger is something that logs and monitors what your typing inputs when you're online, or when whatever it is you're doing. So, story I did once, I did a social engineering. I did a pen test on a target, and I social engineered them. And then when they clicked the link, it installed it's installed a malware keylogger. So I just waited for them to use the keylogger. I'm waiting for them to like type in their credentials or something, and the keylogger would then email me screenshots or email me back um, the keys that were typed. And like I said, it catches everything. It catches your keystrokes. And so if I type something and then I make a mistake, it catches it. When it deletes it, it catches everything, and it prints it out in this nice little text document or whatever, and it gets sent over to you. So that's what a keylogger is, and that's what a keylogger is used for. Like I said, it's mainly, like I said, a surveillance tool or a spying tool, I guess you could call it. Um, let's see. Do you need to be good at programming to get started? Um, okay, hold on. Is it a type of malware? It could be like a malware, but like I've seen USB keyloggers, so it can be like a hardware tool too. Like I've used a hardware keylogger. Like I go in and pretend like I'm tech support, and I plug in a USB and walk away, and then come back later, and and unplug the USB, and I see what was typed. But yeah, it can be used as malware. I think Metasploit has a couple modules that you can use where you can install a keylogger, I believe. Um, so what question was I on? So, do you need to be good at programming to get started? You don't need to be good at programming, but you need to have a basic understanding of programming. So you need to understand, a basic if then statement. You need to understand a basic conditionals, or just basic programming. Um, there's Bash scripting, which isn't really a programming language, but it's a scripting language. I would definitely recommend using that, especially if you're going to get into pen testing and hacking, because it automates a lot of stuff. Um, learn your basic Python. Actually, learn your basic Python. But a tip is Python 2.7 is becoming obsolete soon. So learn 2.7, but also learn Python 3, because Python 3 is going to be the de facto standard for Python soon. There's going to be some pushback, and people are going to say, but my app is on 2.7, and they're going to fight over it for a little while, but make sure you know Python 3. But I would say learn Bash scripting, learn Python, know the basics of C, learn the basics of JavaScript. PowerShell. Learn PowerShell, at least some of the PowerShell commands. Especially if you're going to be pen testing in Windows environments, you're going to need to learn how to use PowerShell, and the exploits in PowerShell are really powerful. But also, Stack Overflow. You can find stuff online with Stack Overflow or Google. And again, there's so many different resources online from different pen testers or different hackers that have been in here a lot longer and way more experienced than me. So you can always find the answer online. But I would say it's good to just have that knowledge when you're stuck in a bind and you're on the spot, and you can't just jump out to Google, or you can't just reach out to somebody and say, hey, what PowerShell command would I put in? So that's why I say learn the basics of it. Okay. Where am I? What is a skill you wish you knew more of? Um, I mean, I wish I would. Going back to programming, I wish I definitely was really a lot stronger in programming. Like I said, I know enough to get me by, but I wouldn't consider myself to be an expert. Programming, just because it's a good thing to have, whether you're in cybersecurity or if you're just into programming. Period. for development or developer jobs or anything like that. So I would definitely wish I learned coding a lot more. I had a brief opportunity to learn from somebody when I was younger, but again, at that point I had pretty much convinced myself that I wasn't smart enough. Going back to what I was saying before about helping people in the inner cities, because again, a lot of that is a confidence thing. When you're not exposed to it all the time, it's almost like you fear what you don't understand. So it's like, I don't know. I've never seen program code before, and since I don't understand it, I'm just going to chalk it up as I'm stupid. So my goal is to basically break that mentality, and and show them that you can. Like my daughter, from what I've seen, some of the things that I've seen what my daughter do with code, I mean, she's amazing, and she's 11. She'll be 12 soon, but she's just, I mean, she's probably a better coder than me at this point, and she's 11 years old. So, so I'm living vicariously through her. Okay, so that I would learn, like I said, I would definitely learn. That would be one skill I wish I knew more of. Other than that, for if I'm talking just mainly in pen testing, maybe Wi-Fi hacking. I wish but these are all things that I don't know if you can see my board behind me, but these are all things that I basically have said I evaluate myself and say, what do I need to improve on, and I make it a goal of mine. So it's definitely on my list. But if I had to say that, it would probably be programming, and I probably wish I was stronger at Wi-Fi pen testing or mobile pen testing, not Wi-Fi, mobile pen testing, Wi-Fi pen testing, programming, and I need to really take some time to get better at, like, AWS or Docker container pen testing. So that's 4 things: programming, AWS, mobile, Wi-Fi, that I feel like I need to get stronger in. I heard Python 2 is shutting down. Yep, Python 2.7 is shutting down, and Python 3 is going to be the standard. But I've already started hearing complaints that even though everybody's known that Python 2.7 was going to go in 2020, people are still complaining that they didn't have enough time. So that's why I said learn Python 2.7, because you still might come across it in your career, but make sure you know Python 3.0. Okay. Think this, if there aren't going to be any more questions online, I think this might be the last one. So, what advice would you give someone looking to get into hacking? Other than everything that I said about the books and the technical thing, first and foremost, my advice would be, make sure that this is what you want to do. Don't do it because it's the sexy job. Don't do it because you see it on TV. Don't do it because you hear about it in the news. Don't do it because you see me talking about how much I enjoy it, or someone else talking about how much they enjoy it. Do it because you want to do it, or do it because you have that passion. Don't do it for anybody else but you. Don't get into cybersecurity just because you heard it pays well and it's a fun job, because although it is true, it's a lot of work. It's I want to destroy infrastructure. Well, yeah, that too. But even so, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time away from things you like to do. If you're like me and you have a family, it takes a lot of time away from your family. And honestly, it takes its toll on you mentally, and then after a while, even physically. Just because you're spending so much time in front of a screen, you might end up having to get glasses, or you might end up having migraines. You might end up having sleepless nights because your mind is constantly working on just your thoughts of whatever's going on. So make sure it's what you want to do. Like, I'm not here just to say it's glitz and glamour and fireworks and explosions and everything is awesome and all that bullshit. I'm here just to show you that if you stick to it, it's a great thing to do. But you have to stick to it, and there's going to be days where there's days where I've literally looked myself in the mirror and my wife is like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how I can get, back into shape. because maybe I need to go strip or something, because maybe this isn't cut out for me. You know what I'm saying? Like this, there are days where it gets frustrating. There are days where it just gets complicated. There's days where, if you're dealing in a corporate setting or government setting, there's a lot of red tape that takes the essence, the pure fun out of it. So you just have to know that at the end of the day, that this is what you want to do. This is what this is what you enjoy. Like, even though I have all these books, I enjoy reading these books. I enjoy writing my articles. I enjoy looking up stuff online. I enjoy going on Twitter and talking to other professionals in the field, and talking shop with them. Like, it really brings joy to me, to sit there sometimes and be on be in a vulnerable vuln hub or a hack the box machine and not have any clue what the hell's going on. Like, I enjoy that because now that's a challenge for me, and that means I'm gonna learn something new at the end of it. So what I usually tend to tell people is, figure out your why. Why do you want to do this? Why are you willing to stay up long hours? Why are you willing to deal with the bullshit sometimes? Why are you willing? And your why has to be strong enough to motivate you to pick yourself up on those days when you're not feeling up to it. So my why, that's my why. Because I need to make sure that I'm the best version of myself possible for them for them to thrive. I can't tell my children to do your best and give maximum effort and, don't take no shit. Go out there and kick the world's ass. I can't do that if I'm not doing it. It makes me a hypocrite, and I'm not the type of person that's going to sit here and talk and basically, I'm not the type that says do as I say and not as I do. No, I'm a lead by example. So figure out your why. Know that it's not going to be easy, but know that if you really want to do it and you position yourself properly, it'll pay off. Little long-winded response, but that's my answer. Let's see. Talk about working remote. Working remote. So my job is mainly remote. Working remote is a gift and a curse in the beginning. Because in the beginning, you're working remote and you're like, woo, I can work from home and this is awesome. And I can sit in my drawers and work on a computer all day and just do whatever the hell I want. It depends on the job, and it depends on the people that you work for or work with. Because, so for example, my first remote job, it was basically like an unwritten thing where it's like, well, since you get to work remote and I have to come into the office, you should work later because you have the luxury of working at home. And so I found myself working till 2-3 in the morning sometimes. And after a while, I was like, nah, this is bullshit. I'm only getting paid for 8 hours a day, so I'm going to work 8 hours a day. So don't fall for that trap. But working from home, again, it has its benefits. Like I said, you can work from home. You can work from pretty much anywhere. I was traveling for like the last week or so, and as long as there was a Wi-Fi connection, I was working. So I've taken like several working vacations since I've started working remotely. So like I'll take the kids somewhere and they'll go enjoy it. They'll go play on the beach, and as long as my Wi-Fi signal is strong enough and I can connect to the VPN, get a VPN. But as long as I can connect to a VPN and do my shit securely, it's great. But I would say that one of the things that sucks about working remotely is there's no camaraderie. So most of my teammates were all over the place, so I don't really see them. So, it kind of sucks because sometimes it is cool to kind of get up or go to the break room or go to someone else's cubicle and talk to them, especially in the beginning if you're a junior pen tester. that was one of the things that I felt held me back, was that my first pen test job, my first real pen test job, was a remote job. And because I was a junior pen tester, I couldn't just walk over to someone else and say, hey, I'm stuck with this, could you show me XYZ? So a lot of it I had to learn on my own, but I had to learn on my own and learn fast, because I was doing assessments. I was basically just thrown into pen testing, like assessments on my own, like within a month within the company I was at. And it became real stressful, and real complicated, so I would say for your first job, if you're going to do it remote, make sure you're still in a local office. Make sure there's a local office close by, or make sure that you have direct contact with someone who might be more advanced or more senior, so you can get on a WebEx, or you can get on like a screen sharing and they can show you something. One of the things that I do with new pen testers that join my team is, when we're not in the middle of a bunch of assessments, I try to designate maybe once or twice a week where we do like a team call, a team session, where I kind of show them certain things. So it's like, hey, like when I first meet them, I'm like, what are you strong in? What are you weak in? And they tell me what they're weak in. They tell me what they're strong in. And then when we have some downtime, it's like once a week. It's like, hey, join this WebEx. We're gonna do a screen sharing session, and we're gonna go through this exercise, or we're going to go through this vulnerable machine, this CTF. We're going to go through it together, just to kind of help build that person's skill set. So just make sure you have the right stuff in place if you're going to work remote. The other thing I would say, if you're working remote, is you still need to learn to take breaks and step outside, because after a while you'll tend to start hating where you work, and where you work is where you live. And that might cause issues, especially again if you have a family. So like I have my basement here. Like you can't see this over here, but I got like my man cave section over here. But this is like my office. But I'll go outside, or I'll bring my laptop outside and sit on the deck or go somewhere else, just to make sure I'm not always trapped in the house. Because again, it's the worst feeling in the world to get up in the morning and be like, I fucking hate going to work. But going to work is literally going downstairs into your kitchen, or into your basement, or into your office area. And then it's like, I hate being here. You know what I'm saying? It's so stressful. Again, having that downtime in your career when things are complicated. So you just have to find that balance. All right. But like I said, if you can balance all of that, remote jobs are awesome. It also takes a lot of self-control, because a lot of people will be like, oh, you work remote, so that means, hey, let's go to the movies. No, I'm working. Oh, you work remote, hey, let's come out to the block, or come over here and come hang out with the fellas, or come hang out with your friends. No, I'm working. So they look at it like, so the outside people look at it like, oh, well, you work from home, so that means you could do anything. And you have to stay disciplined, because at the end of the day, you still have deadlines to meet, especially with pen testing, or with cybersecurity. Like, my boss doesn't care that if I come into the office or not. But if I miss a deadline, or if I say I'm gonna have a report due, the report's gonna be sent in on Friday, and it's not sent by close of business on Friday, my boss is gonna call me like, yo, what are you doing? So you got to stay disciplined, and you got to make sure you stick to your deadlines, and you stick to your promises, and you stick to your word, because the moment you mess that up, know this: the higher ups, they don't want people to work remote. So the moment you mess up, they're going to take that from you. And now you're back in the office in your cubicle. So, and guess what? You may have agreed to a certain salary working remote as opposed to working in the office. So you may have actually taken less to work remote, so you don't have to worry about commuting to work every day. But if they pull that from you and say, okay, you're not working remote anymore, you have to come into the office, they're not going to renegotiate your salary. Just know that. So that's my 2 cents on that. You can't work from the beach. Hey, if the beach can reach the range of the Wi-Fi, absolutely. Just don't get the laptop wet. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody joining the live stream today. I appreciate y'all sitting with me and rocking with me and let me answer these questions. I'll take a couple seconds more to see if anybody else has any other questions they want to ask. Actually, let me just scroll through here and let me move over here. Oh, actually, I do have a couple questions. Again, you have to forgive me. So I'm streaming on 3 different platforms right now. So I'm streaming on Twitch, I'm streaming on YouTube, and I'm streaming on Mixer, which is like Microsoft's version of Twitch. So you have a lot of certifications. How many how many jobs have you had? Are we talking in total? If we're talking in total, I've had several because before I got into cybersecurity or before I got into technology, I kind of went all over the place. So I've been a camp counselor. I've been like a food server. I worked at a supermarket. Uh, I went to the military. I was an aircraft mechanic. Came out of the military. I worked in a warehouse. I tried electrical for a while. I did low voltage, so I did high voltage electrician. Then I did low voltage, which was alarm systems and like the integrated smart homes. So like the very first smart homes that have that were being built. I did some of those, and then I got into technology. So once I got into technology, professionally, I did tech support. I did Fire Dog, which is like Geek Squad. I did help desk for a little while for a cable company. I did tech support I was a junior tech support for like a rehab center. I worked at GE doing tech support. I worked at another company, basically doing the same thing. Then I worked in the school system, and then I have had 3 pen testing jobs, and I think this is either my 3rd or 4th pen testing job. Again for a company outside of my own. So I didn't really keep count, but there's a lot of jobs. Let's see. Here we go. I might. Oh, I didn't even catch you, Spider. What's up, man? Thank you for joining the stream. Let's see. What future certifications are you aiming to get other than the OSCP? So offensive security has come out with a new one for it's like the AWAE, which is like Advanced Web Application Engineer or something like that. I want to probably take a look at that one. There's the OSCE that I might mess around with, and then there's some that I might circle back and get. But as far as looking to advance in my career, it'd probably be the AWAE. And then for a while, I think I'm really gonna just focus on helping mentor others. So that's what I'm thinking right now. So after the OSCP, I think there's one more I want to get for career wise, and then everything else is just more of a, I guess, out of a curiosity or out of the challenge that I want to look at. So let's see, what's the next one? S. McCrae, thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. Like I said, I did that and I didn't check this chat box over here, but I will definitely look over here. Let's see if there's any questions. Let's see if there's any. Oh, there's an echo. So. All right, I'm gonna check Instagram, or I'm gonna check somewhere else real quick just to see if there's any other questions there, and then if not, I will call it. Oh wow. So Sean from LA or Sean from La, yes, I am live right now. Like I said, you can ask a question, or if not, I can answer it later on. Let's see here. Let's see if there's any other questions going. All right, so I don't see any other questions, but like I said, I'm gonna hold out just a little bit. Okay, here we go. How can I get my hands on day in the life experience of a cybersecurity role? I want to switch, but I want to know what I'm getting myself into. My background is front end web development, and I work in product support for a startup. So, it depends on the role you want. To be honest with you, like I said, cybersecurity is a big field. If you're looking to stay in what you're doing as far as like web development, there are like secure coding or security developer jobs that you can look at. Honestly, what I would probably do is I would find folks on Twitter. Twitter has been a big resource for me professionally. Oh, web development. Okay, well, yeah, like I said, I would definitely see if there's anybody in. Okay, you want to hold on. You want to problem solve. Um, like I said, I yeah, I would say Twitter, and I would definitely kind of just do the research as far as what you're looking to do. So, do you want to get into pen testing? Do you want to get into vulnerability analysis? Do you want to get into blue teaming, like incident response? Do you want to get into um, routers and switches? Do you want to get into like more on the networking side? Do you want to be like an auditor? Do you want to do QSA work? So it all just depends on what side of the spectrum you want. Red team rules. Yeah, like I said, I don't know because I actually I'm a debate that one because as much as I like red team, I really enjoyed when I was doing computer forensics. It's just something about really trying to figure out. It's almost like a CSI type thing where when I did it, it was kind of like getting into the mind of that person or that hacker and really seeing what they were doing at that time. So if I had to do a blue team job, I would definitely love to go back into forensics, but hacking is my first baby. Um, Pen testing sounds interesting. It is. It is interesting. It's challenging and it's ever changing. So, um, I don't know how long you've been on the stream, but like I said, there's a bunch of books. I have my website here, and like I said, my goal is to definitely try to keep um, doing posts or streams or videos on how to kind of build that career and build that technical knowledge before even before you get that first interview to make you strong in your tech skills to land that first job or to even grab those certifications. That's my personal goal. Oh, so you've been here since the beginning. Well, thank you for joining. Like I said, be sure to subscribe to the website or like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter. So I have all that stuff here. Do I have a steady stream schedule set? I want to do every Tuesday and Thursday, but life just keeps getting in the way. So eventually, I'm gonna try to stream twice a week. They might not be as long. They'll probably be maybe 45 minute to an hour streams. I'll probably end up doing maybe one Q&A and one technical one. Eventually, I'm really once I kind of get a lot of this stuff out the way, and I kind of grab, knock out a couple other things. I'm really gonna get into like doing like CTFs live, um, or just doing videos on the CTFs or how to use a certain tool or how to do something in pen testing. It's going to be a lot of how to technical, more technical oriented stuff coming in the future. Um, Eventually, like I said, I want to do something very similar to IPSEC, but if anybody who knows pen testing knows IPSEC is like the gold standard for CTFs. So I want to try, but I want to try to do something similar but a little bit different. So I'm trying to flesh that out before I put that out there. So, but yeah, I'm shooting for Tuesdays and Thursdays. Maybe after late afternoon, like around a 4:35 p.m. type schedule. And like I said, I'll probably do a Q&A, and I'll probably do a technical one, or I might do a technical one while doing a Q&A. I haven't quite decided yet. But like I said, if you like and subscribe and hit the notifications, I will definitely post before I do go live or before I do upload a video. So like, subscribe, follow all the social media, and do everything from there, and you'll know when I'm going live. If you want me to send my write up on setting up Metasploit 3, I'll shoot it over. I actually did set up mine. So I have it finally up and running. It took me a while, but I got it. But thank you, I appreciate it. So with that being said, if there aren't any other questions, let me check all of the chats. Again, Ladera J, thank you for following. Be sure to subscribe. But yeah. If there aren't any other questions, we will go ahead and call it. And like I said, tune in for the next stream. Again, I'm trying to shoot for Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I will let you know when that's going to happen. Blah 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 blah. I'm tripping up on my words at the end. So thanks for joining, everybody. Y'all have a good night and take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend.